Hey everybody, we're live. It's Diaspora TV, powered by It's Deeper Than Travel. It's Thursday. If you're a part of the It's Deeper Than Travel family, make sure that you like this, share it with your friends that you think would be interested in learning more about ways to travel deeper. If you're interested in learning about how to travel a little deeper, make sure you get online with us here. We do this every Thursday night at 6 o'clock to just let you know a little bit about what we do as an organization, as a company, and get some of your questions, comments, interest about travel. So make sure you put in the comments, I'm tripping, if you're a part of the IDTT family and you know what that is. If you don't, put what's tripping so that we can give you a little info about exactly what tripping is all about. If you don't know who I am, I'm Inez Nelson. I'm the founder of It's Deeper Than Travel. We're a travel company that combines travel, service, and learning to create Pan-African collaboration and cultural affinity. So that means that the trips that we host take you from, I didn't really know about it, to I love it so much that I need to bring it back home with me. So we want you to love your experiences. We want you to share with your friends about what you learned about the Pan-Africans and our stories across the world so that we can begin to tell our own stories. So we hope that you'll be able to join us on a trip soon. Today's episode of Diaspora TV is about tripping. So you'll see, once we launch our website, you'll see that we have shirts that say I'm tripping. And a lot of times people are like, what's tripping about? What is that exactly? But for us, tripping is a way of unabashedly exploring a new culture, a new community, a new cuisine, to the point where you put aside your comfort zone and you really look for ways to immerse yourself. It could be locally in your own communities, or it could be abroad, right? So for instance, we just hosted a trip to Ghana for 11 days. We visited Kumasi as well as Accra, and we got a chance to really get to know all sides of the community there, the city, the culture, the countryside, the metropolitan, all of that, as well as the people. But again, there are Ghanaians right here where we are in Philadelphia. So there's an opportunity to be tripping wherever you are. There's an opportunity to learn about the cultures, the cuisines, the people right in your backyard. I'm sure there are events that you may not know about, organizations that you may not know about, potentially people and connections that are available for you in all of these different Pan-African communities right in your city. So we encourage people to always be tripping. And I'll give you a little info about an event that we're having specifically around tripping when we get to the end of this episode. But we want to talk about today, like, how do you trip, really? Like, how does that happen exactly? Tripping to us, again, is traveling a bit deeper. So I wanted to give you a few tips if you're interested in learning how to trip wherever you are, whether it be locally or abroad. Tip number one is going to be learn the language, right? So usually when we're going somewhere, we try to learn at least 2 words, hello and thank you. You're probably going to be saying that all the time. So figure out what those words are specifically and try to learn just those 2. I know in tree, hello or welcome is Akwaba. And then thank you is Madasi. So while we were in Ghana, we taught our travelers that, and not only did it make them feel more connected to the community, it also gave them some respect from the actual community there. Like, for instance, think about yourself when you realize that somebody took the time to learn a bit about you so that they could communicate to you on your level, it gains some respect. So it did when we went there as well. And it's like that everywhere. We went to Brazil. I can't remember what hello is in Portuguese, but I think, I can't even remember what thank you is. It's been so long since I've been to Brazil. Oh, obrigado. Obrigado is thank you in Portuguese. So just learning, 2 or 3 words will be helpful, just to gain respect from the community there, but also make you feel more immersed in the community there. Number 2 is study the history. So it's always cool to learn a bit more about what has happened to make a community or a country the way that it is. A lot of times we have certain assumptions, but if you take a little trip on Google, the Joogle, as we like to call it, you can learn a lot more about specifically what are some of the historical things that have happened in these places. Sometimes you're surprised. Like yesterday, I was doing some research. We're planning to do a trip in 2020 to a East African country called Tanzania. And I learned that there was a significant amount of slave trade that happened in Tanzania by Arabs. So that wasn't something that I knew. Usually when you learn about the slave trade, you think about West Africa, you think about the transatlantic slave trade, you think about the English and the Dutch bringing Africans to the Caribbean and the Americas. But I learned a little bit about Tanzania. So now when I go there, I'm trying to find where's the door of no return there? Where are the slave castles? What does it look like? And how does that affect the community there? So learn a little bit about the country before you go, so that when you go there, you have some sort of context for the way that it is. Tip number 3 is expressing your experiences creatively. So we did a workshop while we were in Ghana. It was about how to tell your story, which you need to be able to tell your story wherever you go. You know, you need to be able to tell your story whether you're in an interview or whether you're trying to tell somebody what happened on your amazing trip abroad. But finding creative ways to share your story really allows you to travel a bit deeper, and whether it be taking certain types of photography when you go, so maybe you are looking for certain types of statues and certain types of monuments, and so those are the things that you take pictures of, and that's the way you tell the story when you return. Or maybe you find a way to paint what you experienced. Or I know, for instance, when we were in Ghana, we had the opportunity to do some batik, which is wax printing. And a lot of our travelers brought back that printing with them so they can wear it, they can hang it on their wall. So it's really a staple piece from the trip, and they can explain like how it was made and what the experience was like. So finding cool ways to share your story allows you to travel a bit deeper as well, because you can look for experiences that allow you to be able to share that when you return. Tip number 4 is living, or I would say just hanging with the locals. A lot of times when we travel, we know the things we want to do, and a lot of them are potentially hosted by locals. So you go, for instance, to see Christ the Redeemer statue when you go to Brazil, or you go to see Sugarloaf Mountain, or you go to Ipanema Beach, or you go to Copacabana. But it's also pretty cool to just go to a favela and hang out with the locals. I will say you want to have a connect. Usually when you're hanging with the locals, you want to have some sort of connect in the area. A really, really good friend of mine, Sheree, has a business called Tastemakers Africa, and they specifically focus on connecting you to that friend in the community who can show you around. But it's really a dope experience to be able to go to any country and have someone there who you can consider a friend, who's a local, who can show you around and show you the ropes of the community from the perspective of somebody who lives there every day. So take a time, find somebody. I know the first time I went to Tokyo, I literally, this is back in the day, I went on MySpace and I was looking for Black professionals in Tokyo. And so I found a group called Black Professionals in Tokyo, sent them a message, said I'm coming to Tokyo, I'm traveling by myself, I'm volunteering abroad. I just want to meet somebody. So when I got there, I got a chance to meet a girl. She took me to all of the clubs in downtown Tokyo. She connected me with somebody in Yokohama when I got there. So I really felt way more immersed in the community because I had a friend there to help me. So find ways to live with the locals, hang with the locals, go see the locals, and get to know the locals when you're traveling somewhere. Tip number 5 ties directly to what we do with It's Deeper Than Travel. So anytime we go somewhere, we always include service work, volunteer service work. And a lot of times when you are volunteering abroad, similar to connecting with the locals, you get an opportunity to work together with the locals. So it's different. If you think about back in the day when you were in school and you had to do work and you knew your classmates and y'all hung out together or whatever, and when you did your work by yourself, it was one thing, but when you had to do a group project, it was completely different. Like you got to know them in a different way. You got to experience them in a different way. You may have built friendships that were different than, when you were doing individual work. You may have uncovered things that were similar between you two that you didn't even know. And it's the same way when you go abroad and you volunteer. The projects we do are asset-based community development projects, which means we focus on what the community does have. And that's what we really try to do, is both impact the community and be impacted by the community. So those are the tips today on how you can travel deeper, how you can stay tripping when you are international, or if you are right here in the United States. If you are interested in traveling or visiting a country without having to leave the country, you need to join us for our You Trippin' 2019 trip release party. It's going to be on December the 6th in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania at the WeWork in Northern Liberties, which is where I am right now. It's a pretty cool space. We are going to be creating a live, interactive, international gallery experience where you are going to be able to see, taste, touch, feel, and hear all of the countries that we're going to be going to next year. It's just to give you a little taste, just so that you can get an understanding of what you will be missing out on if you don't join us in 2019. But even if you're kind of apprehensive, you're like, I don't know if I want to really travel, this is your opportunity to kind of get a taste and see what it could potentially be like, to see if you really want to go and have a transformative experience with It's Deeper Than Travel. So make sure you join us for You Trippin' 2019, the trip release party. It is, the link to the site is You Trippin', that's YOUTRIPPIN dot 2019. So that's You Trippin' 2019.eventbrite.com. You can get your tickets there now. Early bird tickets are available. Make sure you get those. And you can get a buddy pass ticket, so you can bring somebody. So you can pay a little less if you bring a friend, which is gonna be pretty dope. We're gonna have some pretty cool experiences there, including a panel discussion on ways that you can potentially overcome some of the obstacles that are stopping you from traveling the world. So whether it be finances, whether it be apprehension, whether it be, not having people to go with, what are the things that are stopping you from traveling? So we're gonna have some really cool influencers in the spaces of travel, specifically Pan-African travel, to come and talk about what you can do to overcome those obstacles. So make sure you join us. You can follow us everywhere. If you're already here, then you clearly are following us on Facebook at It's Deeper Than Travel. You can follow us on Instagram at It's Deeper Than Travel as well. And we will be launching our website soon, and you'll be able to sign up for trips there at www.itsdeeperthantravel.com. In the meantime, we will see you next Thursday. Stay tripping. Hey, Ben! What's up? Ben is always on the live. I love you, man. Like, you're always on the live. What time is it in Ghana? It's like 10 o'clock. Seriously. But I'm glad to see you. Keep posting on Instagram. Like, I love your feed on Instagram. And yeah, so we'll see y'all next Thursday. Peace.